self-discovery. Find out about your journey. Self-discovery. Find out about your journey. Self-discovery. Find out about your journey. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Women's Month to all the amazing women out here doing amazing work and impacting the world through their voice, through their mission, through just showing up and being who they are. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for showing up and never giving up on yourself. Today, you're joining us on Self-Discovery. This is an original podcast, and my name is Dr. Mojisola Edu, and we're going to be talking about self-discovery. How did you find a point where you pivoted in your life? Talking about healing and just, what guided you to your mission, your dharma, as we say in yoga, your purpose in life. And how has that shifted for you in doing the work that you do? So today we're going to have the pleasure of talking to the amazing excellency Ambassador Dr. Antoinette Carole Grace Mbarga. She's going to be talking to us. She's an amazing sister and she's doing amazing work. She's working with the youth, standing up against, making sure that everyone has access and equality, standing up against human trafficking and many more. Today, she just received 2 awards, one for being Iconic Woman of the Year, another one receiving one for being a Miracle Woman of the Year. She's a two-time Lifetime Achievement Award from the President of the United States, one from Obama and one from President Biden. And it's just a blessing. It's a blessing to have such a remarkable woman here to talk to us about what she's doing and how she shows up and how does she take care of herself through her journey. And before we have her on, I want to go ahead and we're going to start with actually pulling an affirmation today, just to start the day off. And we're going to also have, a quote today, just to get us started on today's session. And I hope you all are doing well today and you're taking care of yourself, because, sometimes, as much as we do for the world, we end up being last on the totem pole when we don't take care of ourselves, right? So today's affirmation I'm going to pull today says, I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. I'm going to read that again to you all. I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. Sometimes our throat chakra, because of trauma or because of different things, and especially for women, as it's Women's Month, a lot of us were raised in a time where it was like speak when spoken to. Some of us have been gaslighted. We weren't allowed to really vocalize what we wanted, what our needs. Sometimes we sacrificed our desires for everyone else, especially people in service and those who are empathic and that give so much of themselves. And in this season of your life, I implore you to ask for what you want, ask for what you need, and speak up and open your throat chakra and ask what you need in this season and in your time, because you deserve it. You deserve it. You've given, you served, you've helped everyone in your life, but when are you serving yourself? And today is what we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk with Dr. Mbarga, and we're going to go and deep dive into her journey and talk about the different things and the importance of mental health, especially as women, and all the things. And I would like to definitely give a big shout out to my amazing muse, Frida Kahlo, who took her pain and she transformed it into beauty through her self-portraits, loving herself. And she went through so many layers of trauma. And also Sojourner Truth. Even though we're not in Black History Month, but every day is Black History, and every day we are women. Still fighting the good fight. Sojourner Truth stood up for literacy. She stood up for, women's rights, for us to have the right to vote. Just imagine there are women still in this moment that don't have the right to vote, and women that don't have the opportunities that we have here in America. So that's why it's important to vocalize and to stand up for what we need. Today's quote comes from Nelson Mandela. It says, "It always seems impossible until it's done." So people will tell you it doesn't work, it didn't work out, or they'll implant their fears on you. But you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know until you try it. And people always say, "Oh, it's a failure." No. Failure is research and development. How are you failing if you're constantly developing? And the only way that we see real true growth is where we go through the darkest places in our lives. And we have light and shadow, but like I said, we'll be back in a few minutes, and we're going to have um Dr. Mbarga. She'll be here in a few minutes, and we'll be talking with her about her journey and everything that she's doing. And don't forget to log on to www.loveenergyservices.com. Find out more things about what we're doing. Follow at Love Energy Services on Instagram and on Facebook, and Google my business, Love Energy Services. And definitely a big shout out to all the women in the world that are not giving up on themselves, that are showing up and doing excellent work. So I thank you. We'll be back on in a second, and we're going to have the one and only Dr. Mbarga to talk to us about her journey and what she's doing and putting her foot and imprint into the world. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to have Dr. Mbaga live with us, and we're going to be talking with her about that. And we also have some upcoming interviews also going on. We'll be talking to Special Ed, icon and legend producer, hip hop artist who is focusing on literacy and also stopping gun violence. We'll be talking to him within this month. We'll also be talking with Dr. Judith Staley. We'll be talking to her about higher education and things that she's doing and impact. That she's been an amazing professor and helping and showing an example that not to give up, and definitely supporting those underrepresented to be able to have opportunities for higher education. So it's definitely an amazing. We're also going to be also having Trey Chaney, who is an actor who played Pooh from The Wire. He'll also be on the show talking to him about his journey coming up. And like I said, it's an honor and a pleasure as we stand here in the forefront as we celebrate Women's Day. Women's Day is remarkable, but at the same time, let us not forget that we are women every day, and we still go through the struggles and fights of We are not represented enough. We are not getting the support that we need. We are still dealing with hierarchies. We are still dealing with isms and discrimination. And this is not just in the United States, but this is internationally, globally. You still have taxes on, like, there's a woman's tax, a pink tax, where you have women that are shamed because of them having their time of the month, or not having access to sanitary napkins, women that are being muted, and all different things that are happening. But we have come a long way. We have come a long way. Women are doing amazing things. They are executives. They are presidents. They are CEOs. They are angel investors. I mean, they are construction workers. They are doing everything, and they have become so innovative. They've always been innovative, but like I had was on a conference earlier, we as women, the world would not be anything without us. We are a driving force. Behind every great person, there is a woman. And we have been doing amazing work through the years. And I just want to acknowledge, like, every woman. Like, there's sometimes when you feel like you aren't heard, you aren't seen, you aren't valued. But I'm here to tell you that you are seen. I see you, Queen. I honor you. I thank you for not giving up. I thank you for showing up for yourself and showing up for everyone else, because without you, so many people wouldn't have opportunities, or wouldn't have even seen the light that they had within them if it wasn't because of you. And there's struggles. And as another young lady told me before, she said, we can't be gatekeepers as women. We have to be able to, because originally, as a society, we are tribal. We work in tribes and communities. And so much of society has made us become individualistic instead of building and each one teach one and building people up. So as we grow as leaders, as we shape the world, reaching back and sharing and supporting and providing not just equality but equity, giving them a leg up so they have a chance to truly achieve the goal and to really have access to what they need so they can achieve and they can soar, right? That's why it's so important as us as women, as mentors, as teachers, as a guiding light, to make sure and remember. Sometimes we might get to the point we feel like we're burnt out and we have to remember and come back. What are we fighting for? What are we advocating for? Why did I originally do this work? Knowing how to pivot and how to change and shift. So once again, like I said, I commend every last woman for showing up. Even the young girls that are in schools, that are becoming, that are in cybersecurity, in tech, in healthcare, that are finding innovative ways to change the world and to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. We come from, at least me, come from a society where a lot of women didn't have a chance. A lot of women stayed in the house, they raised family, they had babies, and but they worked. Like, being a housewife is work. You're a finance person, you're administrative person, you're transport, you're doing all those things. It's a 24-hour job. And amplify that with actually having to work a job on top of that. So you gotta work a job on top of that, right? After you work the job on top of that, you have to actually take care of the home, and then take care of everybody else, and then you're the last on the totem pole to take care of yourself. That's why it's so important for self-care, and to take care of yourself so much is very important. So, and finding little ways to take care of yourself, whether it's yoga, whether it's fitness, taking a trip, taking a breath, just stepping away from the desk and taking a breath, and not feeling guilty as a woman to take time for yourself. I think sometimes there's this guilt because we are sometimes we're sometimes weaponized, right? Sometimes we're weaponized because we need a little care, and we need a little time, and sometimes it's too much. It's a lot. You know, we're human. We're not robots, so we need time for ourselves. So, like I said, we'll be back on in a second, and we're going to have Dr. Mbarga, and we'll be talking with her in a few minutes. And like I said to you guys earlier, we're going to have Her Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Antoinette Carole Grace Mbarga, who's going to be talking to us about her life's journey and her self-discovery on finding her mission to stand up and be a voice for those who were not seen and heard, um, internationally, globally. And once again, you heard earlier, we talked more about all of her accolades. Two-time President's Lifetime Achievement Award winner. Today, she just got an award for the Iconic Woman of the Year, Miracle Woman of the Year, international speaker, working with children, and many more. And everywhere where she can put some support in society is where she wants to bring a voice. So we're going to bring her here to talk more about her journey, and what changed her as women. And her main thing, she's like, as women, we should not gatekeep. We should be able to provide equity and opportunities, not just equality, but equity, giving them a chance and a leg up. And that's everywhere globally. Okay, so welcome, Dr. Mbarga.
Oh, hi. Welcome, everyone. So sorry for the little delay. It's been a very, very, very long, long, long day full of celebrations, but I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm here.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. You've done amazing work. And we are like so proud of you. You are just standing in the UN, globally, India, everywhere, speaking and doing amazing work. And we want to first ask you, what inspired you to do the work that you're doing? When did you know that this was your calling?
Actually, this is a very funny story. When I was much younger, I was that child that came home with stray cats. My dad, I remember one year he bought us a live crocodile, like for us to celebrate Christmas. And me, I was just feeling like really bad for the poor animal, and I wanted to go and actually untie him. Wanted to give him a little pet name. My dad keep on reminding me, he's like, "Hey, young lady, this is my Christmas dinner. We don't play that." I had dogs. I had uh, you name it. So in high school, some of my friends, friends, and then it just started as bullying. They called me Mother Teresa because yeah, at that time I wasn't allowed to have any boyfriend. I grew up in a very strict Catholic home, and not only that, I was always that child that would share lunch, that would share extra money. Believe it or not, in high school I was paying people tuition fees. My father doesn't even know that because my family was actually not poor, but we were comfortable. So friends nicknamed me Mother Teresa, and Dr. Edu, believe it or not, I didn't like it, being compared to a nun. But
Mm,
then, after I did some research, I began to embrace the calling behind that name. It just means that she was a phenomenal woman. She served the poor in Calcutta, in India. So, full circle, now I'm working with Indian teams in poverty alleviation campaigns, talking about girls' education, and it's just been amazing, just amazing.
wow. I mean, I know education has been one of the biggest forefronts for you, making sure to have access. Um, how important is it for education and equity? Because we've fought for years for equality, but how important is equity right now in this time and age? And as you see the evolution of as women are rising and standing in powers of leadership.
Um, as far as education, when you're a black girl and you're an African girl, I'm originally from Cameroon, and there's still part of my country where um, girls' education comes in secondary to a boys' education. There are families with a lot of children, and families will still ask the little girl to sacrifice or to forfeit her education, even though she might be even the smartest among the kids. So to me, education is very important. It's okay. It's a way for our society to move forward. I forgot. I think I don't know if it's Nelson Mandela. He's the one who said that education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change our world, which is true. We also heard a saying um, that goes like, if you educate a woman in Africa, it means you educated a whole nation. It starts at a village level, but then at the end, it turns into you educating a whole nation because we carry the world in our shoulders. I said it this morning in one of the presentations that I was giving that our world, our universe is nothing without a woman. And
Hmm.
I would even emphasize that our world is nothing without an educated woman. We need women in these fields, like the STEM fields. We need women basically like everywhere. And it's just appalling to me that we still have countries where people feel as if educating a woman is a threat to society. It,
Yes.
yes, in Cameroon, for example, we have this saying in French that say "long crayon." It means you studied a lot. They will shame you for having a PhD. Some people even say that, oh, a woman who's too versed, a woman who went far in her schooling will not last long in marriage. Dr. Edu, do you know why?
Hmm.
Because education allows you to have an open mind.
Exactly.
Education allows you to see that there is more to you than cooking big pots of jollof rice, ndole, and all the meals, right? There is more to you than bearing children.
Exactly.
Education opens up that door in a young girl's mind to let her know that society needs me sitting in these seats at leadership tables where decisions that impact our communities are made every day.
Exactly.
We cannot move without educated women. We just cannot. Can you? I just can phantom. I can imagine a President Barack Obama without our highly educated First Lady Michelle Obama, who's up until now the most educated First Lady we ever had in the United States. Graduated from Princeton for undergrads and then went ahead and went to Harvard Law. Those are the models that we want to portray and show to our young girls. That when we say, go to school, leave little Johnny alone, he can come later, especially when you're still in high school. Go
Exactly.
and get that education because it opens up a whole world of opportunities. If I did not go to school, I want to be speaking with people in India. I want to be invited in podcasts like yours. Even the simple basic respect that sometimes women we ask society to give us, sometimes you earn it through education. So it's very important that we put an emphasis, especially us African people, country, minority countries, developing countries. It's important for us to educate young girls. It's important for us to support them. It's important to us to have scholarships that allows them to go to school when their family finances cannot pay forward that tuition, cannot pay for the books, cannot pay for room and board. Our world needs educated women. We need educated women. We need educated girls. So I'm a big advocate on girls' education and girls' empowerment.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. Even like you're setting example, even for you being a mother. And when you speak about Nelson Mandela, I read the quote earlier before we started this podcast. The quote says, it always seems impossible until it's done. We don't know what we don't know, and we don't know until we try. And same thing with education and opportunities for women, especially women of color, BIPOC women. Both of us are women, from Africa. She's from Cameroon, and I'm from Nigeria. But the fight and the struggle in some of these countries that don't ever have these opportunities, it's huge. And there was a quote I read earlier. It said, it was a affirmation. It said, "I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want." I want you to speak to that point of how important it is, especially for women in this day and age, as sometimes our throat chakra was closed off, maybe trauma or just our generations of not speaking up. How important is it for women to speak and ask for what they want as they show up in these spaces?
Okay, so historically, right, we know that we live in a patriarchal society, misogynistic society, um, and it seems as they always, especially us from Africa, they would tell you, "You are a girl, shut up. You don't have to speak in public. We don't want to hear what you have to say." That's the reason, if you look in our political realms, I think we only have so far, correct me if I'm wrong, the president in Liberia, Dr. Sirleaf Johnson. I think so far, she is one of our most esteemed and distinguished female president we ever had. You go to a country like Cameroon, most positions, being a prime minister, we never had a female prime minister before. Positions in finances, but they will give us Ministry of Women and Women Issues. They will give us Ministry of Social Work. They will give us, I don't know, it's just gender biased positions, right? So when you come, like you said, we carry a history, there's a legacy embedded in our DNA of being silent and quiet. Actually, our cultures, most cultures in Africa, they don't like the noisemakers.
The disruptor.
They don't like the disruptors. They don't
Mm-hmm.
like women who speak up,
Mm.
women who take a stand against the status quo. We are not appreciated. They would label you big mouth. In French, we say longue bouche. It means you have a long mouth,
Mm-hmm.
right? Can you imagine? Like, I speak French among the 8 languages that I'm fluent in. We have like in Cameroonian culture, pop culture, you will hear people say that les femmes indépendantes, fortes indépendantes. It means women who are independent and strong. Those are the women that our society, our patriarchal society, wants to shut up. You shouldn't be strong. Oh no, we want you weak. We want you subservient to the man. So anytime you speak up against an issue, they put barrier. By they, I mean society and all these sexist humans. They put these barriers, right? You shouldn't say too much. So to me, it's important to teach young girls at a very young age that you have to speak up. You see something that doesn't feel right, speak up against it. You want to celebrate, like today is Women Internationals Day. You need to celebrate yourself as loudly as you want. You see in the playground, in public schools, the young girl, the one who's assertive, they call her bossy. No, she's not bossy. Some girls they're just born leaders, and some others know their boundaries from an early age. But those are the ones that society wants to squish down. They want them to feel as if they are doing too much.
Hmm.
You see? So to me, when I talk about women empowerment, girl empowerment, it starts by that. Let the women speak up. Let our girls speak up. Allow them to express themselves as loudly as they want. Because we come from an oppressive, like century old years of oppressions. Okay? If you're a Christian like I am, you open your Bible. First of all, they tell you that the woman is the one who introduced him to the world. She went and talked to a snake or whatever. So basically, it's our fault. Nowhere, even in the Holy Scriptures, do you see where they're encouraging women to speak up. There's always like somebody having a cover on top of a pot. Like, we need you to fit in this particular mode. We
Exactly.
want you soft. We want you a little bit more feminine. You go and take martial arts. Like when I was doing how do we say that? I was doing kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that sport is too violent. Well, violent for who? I'm using it. I love it. I put on a pair of gloves, step on the mats, and then distress. But then when you go and you do something like kickboxing, you put a picture on social media, man. And then some of these women who are the guardians of these shut up laws for women, they will come and put these comments like, oh no, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Well, it's 2024. And I tell my sisters, be as loud as you want.
Be loud.
Yes. You want to wear your hair purple? Girl, wear purple hair. If that's what makes your soul happy at that particular moment. You want to go take kickboxing classes? Go ahead. You have 4 children and you decide to go to school? Go to school.
Do it.
Do it. You want to celebrate every single one of your accomplishments. You woke up in a good mood that morning and you are healthy and you decide that, wait a minute, for the past 2 weeks, I've been waking up feeling some type of way. But today I just feel extra special. I don't know, this extra energy. You see me, I wear colorful outfits, even in the winter. There's no such thing as gray and blacks in the winter, and my hair is all black and stuff. No. My glasses, I wear them colorful. Yes. Because that's what women, female energy is. We are vibrant.
We bring that essence. We bring
There
it.
you go. We are colorful.
Yes.
And I encourage my sisters, if you hang in a sisterhood where people are trying to put a cover on your loudness,
Hmm.
drop them out. Run for your life. That's not the circle for you.
Hmm.
That's not your circle. Those are not your people. If you're in a house with a husband who feels like you're too extravagant, you're just too flamboyant. Those are words sometimes that men have used to describe me. You're just too flamboyant. Well, it's 2024. I will be as flamboyant as I want.
Big energy. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm a woman.
Yes.
I bring forth life into this world.
Yes.
The world, I carry it on my shoulder. They have this image of men carrying the world on their shoulders. Please, Dr. Edu, please. Like Beyonce said, we are strong enough. We wear these heels, these stilettos, strong enough. We bear children. And then the next day you are back to business.
Which the heels were never even designed for us.
Like
They
that.
were. That's a whole nother story. But
Yeah.
and all of these are important facts, and what you're saying is the empowerment, and like what you're saying about these circles that we try to put ourselves or force ourselves in, that were never they were never meant for us. If they are not encouraging your wellness physically, mentally, in some way, those are not your circles. If they are trying to mute you, we've been muted all our lives. It's time for us to be loud and open up that throat chakra. And speaking of that, have you ever in your life, through your journey, ever had it, or you can recount a moment where you felt like you were muted, and how did you work through that in maybe an organization or just in life in general, just to share, to help others if they feel muted? How can they work through that?
Okay. As a child, I've always been an overachiever. This is not. Some people call it self-gloating. I call it self-appreciation. So when you stand out in a crowd and you stand out in your family, you're the overachiever. You never fail exams and stuff. My mother didn't like it because my mother was old school, old school. It was, if they're giving awards at the school, at elementary school, middle school, or high school, not only would she not show up, but she will also manage for the fact that to make my dad not come for some weird reasons, you know. And there have been instances like that my entire, let's say, my entire life. We had actually, I'm not going to, probably this is going to be another conversation because it's a celebratory day, and I'm not going to bring bad memories and bad energy
Mm-hmm,
right into this big day. But still, as an activist,
mm-hmm,
I decided to join the Black Lives Movement, Black Lives
mm-hmm,
Matter movement. So I just go when we have rallies here in DC. My own people, when about my own people, I mean like my African immigrant community, they would tell me, well, that's an African American issue or whatever the case might be. What if you go there and then you get hurt? There's people trying to shut me up. I see inequities. I see injustice. I decided to stand up and be on the right side of history by reminding the world that yes, in all circumstances, Black lives do matter. And most of the time, when I go to these rallies, I'm the only African immigrant there most of the time. But that doesn't stop me. I will take pictures as you see me. I'll post them on social media. And then in the comments, you will see these are not even gatekeepers. It reminds me a little bit of when slave owners used our own people to keep us in line.
mm.
That you are not supposed to step out of line. The slave owner, the slave master, we have one of us, somebody like look like us, even during colonial times. You will go to cities like Mayo, where my parents are from. The master, we have one of us who would be put in charge to keep the rest of the community in line, to reinforce the punishments. And sometimes in our inner circle, we have people like that who serve as the enforcers to tell you, oh no, you want to apply to Harvard? Well, girl, I don't know about that. Uh, People like you don't go to Harvard. I remember when I wanted to apply to Georgetown University. I'm a proud graduate of UDC. Hey, Firebirds. Yes, class of 2028, 700 degrees.
Yes.
When I mean 2020, 2008, class of 2008. There you go. So when I decided to apply to Georgetown, I went into my back then this inner circle, and I told them I want to apply to Georgetown. And I was told back then, children who graduated from UDC don't get into Georgetown.
Mm.
You see, I looked up at myself, I'm like, what do you mean? I am smart. I am Georgetown material.
Yes.
I went ahead and applied, and I got accepted. You see, sometimes you hear these stories, Ben Carson or some of our black leaders, they would tell you that a counselor told them they did not belong in such place. I think Shaquille O'Neal had the same problem. Michael Jordan had the same problem. That, oh no, you should just let that dream go. These are silencers trying to tell you what is good for your own destiny. But what my pastor once told me, that when God gave you that vision, it was a private conversation between him and you. It's just the two of you. So whatever God put in your heart and asked you to go and do, if it's to become an activist and be a voice for the voiceless, if it's for you to pursue a degree and become a doctor when nobody else in your family has ever graduated college or even high school, if it's for you to open up a business and become a female entrepreneur, my sister, listen, go ahead and do it. The people who don't believe in you, well, they'll be the same ones who come once you made it, ask you for services, and sometimes like they like free rides, freebies, discounts. But at the beginning, they didn't want you to do it. They didn't support you. They tried to kill the seed. That's the word that I like. Sometimes I see myself as a star seed. There are people in our environment, our inner circle, friends and family, even at work. They try to kill the seed. They bury it deeper and deeper into the ground. Don't give up. Grow some roots and just keep on growing. Eventually, you'll become that magnificent baobab tree where people, everybody else in that village that try to bury the seed, they will come and stand under your shade when it gets too hot, because life gets hot.
Definitely.
Yes.
Everything that you shared is just so the silencers. Woof. That hit that the silencers. They could be within your family, your network, or people that you think and you trust that are your safe people that will silence you. That fire, that light that you have, and people like us with big energy, and all we just want to do is help and support people. We have witnessed a lot of silencers in our journey. Um, I want to ask you a question, Dr. Mbarga, in regards to service. Service, and how important is service to you and to women as we move into because it's not just only just standing up and being in leadership, but and you're wearing your medal. Let's go ahead and show us that medal,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Lifetime
That's the
achievement.
volunteer president volunteer service award.
Yes, two-time, two-time,
Yes, yes, yes.
and how important is service, and just for you, and what does it mean to you in this stage in your life?
Um, I like this quote that I borrowed from Spider-Man movies. I like Marvel movies. It says, "With great power comes greater responsibility." Um, you cannot be a leader if you don't serve your community. A leader is the one that shows the way, right? If you want a just world, you want a world where there's equity, you want a world where everybody feels welcome, you are the primary example by what you preach, by your actions. So to me, giving back to the community is very important. I encourage our young people to volunteer a lot. If you don't have a job, I remember when I didn't have a job during the recession when we graduated, class of 2008, 2009, I think 2010. Among ourselves, we joke and we say that we are the sacrifice generation. Because when we graduated, like, okay, you were full of energy, full of enthusiasm. You're like, okay, I'm finally gonna get this degree. My life is gonna change, and then boom, you got hit. When recession happened, there were no jobs, nobody was hiring. That's when I went and I started volunteering. I volunteered in my community, and all that work has paid off. Okay, I worked in some major projects benefiting the African immigrant community here in the U.S. As I was an intern, congressional intern for Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. She's the congresswoman for the 18th district in Texas. Her internships are highly competitive. So when I got in, of course, what says internship, there's no salary, but you go and you do what you're supposed to do. Okay, you come with a big smile in your face because you are giving back to society. You are giving back to humanity, and we need more people volunteering. There are some agencies that would not function without volunteers in our public schools. To take time off your busy day and go and read to young kids. We have some schools, middle school, they have career day. If you're a doctor, wear that blouse. Go and speak to the children. Talk to them about your journey into medical school. How did you make it? If you're a politician, be that person that can tell people, I believe in preaching by the example. And that's how I started this internship, Miss Africa USA internship program. I'm like, okay, when I was younger, I wanted to be that, I wanted an auntie who can hold my hand and take me to these places that was not open to me. Like our interns, some of them have been to the United Nations, to the Global Engagement Summit. And we actually, for the story, is one decided that she's going to join diplomacy as a career after attending a summit at the UN. Like, oh, yes, I like this. And that spark in their eyes. When they go, and it's not just when we talk about service, people think all the time like it's about feeding the homeless, which is great, uh, um, collecting clothes, which is also great, but even giving up your time to be a tutor.
Yes.
You are good in mathematics. How about you go in some of these shelters and help kids who live in shelters complete their homework? How about you give up your time? Like you are ahead, you know how to do hair. Yes, you're a top-notch doctor, engineer, teacher, but you are also good at doing hair. How about you partner with a public school and you tell them like, I'll be coming as a hairdresser and I'll be braiding young girls' hair. We had in one of the public schools that I work with, this young man decided to do shape-ups for kids in the neighborhood. And it was a Saturday. All you had to do was just sign up. Free shape-ups for everyone. You should have seen these kids. They were very happy. So sometimes people think that service is you signing a check and putting it in the mail. Yes, we appreciate the finances, but we also need human capacity. We want
Yes.
to see faces. So I always encourage people, like, you cannot live your life without volunteering, without giving back to the society that molded you. And even let's say you didn't have great upbringings, right? You grew up in difficult neighborhoods. You can always go back and be that uncle, that auntie, that city council, whomsoever that you wanted when you were younger, because you know what it is that to live in a world without volunteers, and it's a nightmare. It's
Definitely.
just a nightmare. Every job, I tell the young people I mentor that you don't always have to get a paycheck for everything you do for society,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what volunteering is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Is you giving especially your time and using your God-given talents to pour back into the community. So to me, it's very important. Most of the friends I hang with, we are all volunteers. That's what I say. You have to check your inner circle. A couple of years back, every time I went feeding the homeless with my daughter, I have this friend who used to tell me, "Oh, those people are dangerous. Why are you taking them to those nasty neighborhoods? Yada yada yada." Do you know where that friendship is right now? Down the drain. I had to let her go because she was against the vision, something I was trying to instill in my daughter, giving back. So now she's in college. Is she volunteering? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we do it with joy. With
Yeah.
joy. Yes. Yes.
Giving back, I feel like that's something that we were put here for in this world, to give that love, give that support.
Mm-hmm.
One has a God-given talent, and you have the ability to help somebody. You might not have like monetary funds, like you might not have the money, but you can give that talent and share, and to teach somebody so they can better their lives. And you do that each and every day. How do you find time for your own self-care as you give to everyone? Which I think is so important, because sometimes we give so much and then sometimes we're the last on the totem pole. But how do you find ways for your self-care and your mental health, to share with others on, maybe some of them don't know how to separate or do that work. How do you find space for yourself?
I had to learn boundaries. I went to therapy because that's when I found out my therapist was like, okay, you have people pleasing. I don't know if it's a disorder. You just want to make sure that everybody, like you said, everybody's set, everybody's right. So I had to learn how to set boundaries. I had to learn how to turn off my phone. I had to learn. I love cartoons. Like right now, they have Avatar, The Last Airbender. They
Yeah.
a movie. I went back and I've been just like binging on the cartoon version, rewatching the episodes. That's my self care. Sometimes coming back from work, I sit in my car and I just crack that seat back and I sit in my car for probably like 30 minutes, not really thinking about anything special. That's my self care. I got medically cleared to return on the mats. I love kickboxing, not sparing, not hitting on people. No, I'm anti-violence. I just like going and beating up on bags. Yes, that to me, that's self-care. Believe it or not, giving even back to the community, that is also self-care. When I go to an event, the events that I go, I don't have any makeup. I just put on my tennis shoes. I'm like, I am here to support you. Oh, it's a pageant. I'm going to volunteer and be your backstage manager. What do you need me to do? To me, that is also self care because I am feeding that positive energy into my soul and it makes me happy, you know? So, yeah, self care to me is whatever is it that you want it to be. Self care can be going to, I like to go to Rainbow on the sales rack and just looking at $3 stuff. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Retail therapy, man.
There
Yes.
you go. Self care can be going to Walmart. You're not going there to buy anything in particular. Just browsing through the aisles, and it allows you to unwind and unpack.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is so much going on in our world, Dr. Edu. There's so much going on in our world. And then when you're a parent,
Hmm.
you are scared. It's as if our adult world, all of us just suffer from anxiety because you are scared all the time that something might happen to your kids. You see what's happening on TV, the rising crime in our cities, young kids who are not behaving the way they're supposed to. Those of us who are immigrants, you have family back home.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of our governments are not really stable.
Mm-hmm.
You can always get that phone call at 3 o'clock. And that's another self care I started doing.
Mm-hmm.
My phone goes off at 10 p.m. I would say, oh, what if there's an emergency? If you're in the United States, in case of an emergency, please dial 1911. I am
That's
not
the truth.
911.
No, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yes, yes. They
You
will
have to
come
set those
faster.
boundaries.
Yes,
Yeah.
to rescue you than you calling Ambassador Dr. Mbarga at 3 o'clock in the morning. No, those phone calls from back home, that's also self care. I practice self care.
Mm-hmm.
Before 6 a.m., I don't want to know what is happening back home. You can text me, I will not even bother to answer. And it took a while for people to get used to it, but they don't see that self care. They
Mm-hmm.
look at it as you being what's the kind of word here that you're it's not even helpful, that you're just a show off. You think you have arrived, but they don't understand that sometimes you need those silent, quiet moments for yourself because you have to heal from whatever atrocities you witness in the world.
And you have to nourish yourself. I mean, you can't show it for all these people if you don't nourish
There
and
you go.
take time
Even
out for yourself, you know?
my house, I tell people my house is my sanctuary. I the fights and all that, it's outside. When I step into my house, I had to learn this the hard way. I don't do any conflict resolutions in my living room. No, we will go in a conference room or meet at a church somewhere else, because that energy, negative energy, you sitting on my in my sofa and you're crying and all that. Now I have to go and burn some incense to remove that negative energy so that I can feel at peace again.
Hmm.
So even just coming home, Dr. Edu, and just laying on your couch, doing nothing, that's self-care. And I learned that especially during COVID time, that you have to dig deep within yourself and find out on your own what makes your soul happy, what makes your soul calm down, so that you can be a better service to humanity. Because if you're a wreck, right, you're going to literally, you're throwing back negativity. And we have enough of that already.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, everything you're saying is just like for all the women out there that, they feel this guilt because, the weaponizing of self care for so long. You'll see the grandma sitting there with her legs swollen, but she'll never say nothing, but she's in pain, but she's still showing up for everybody. We're in a day and age where we talk about opening up the throat chakra. We talk about speak yourself, speak your needs, your desires, what you need for yourself so you can show up. We can't show up if we don't nourish ourselves, right?
Exactly.
And with knowledge, it's wisdom, but it's also understanding. So if we're able to know better, we do better. And so I just thank you for all that you do, Dr. Mbarga. And one thing in this, as you've gone through your journey, what is you feel is one of the two biggest lessons that you've learned throughout your journey, um being in the UN, being an advocate, just lending your voice to the voiceless? What are some of the two top things that you feel you've learned through your journey?
One, I don't have another life, right? Once I've sacrificed this one pleasing everybody. So I usually say that every morning after I say my prayer, open my eyes, I go into my closet and I open it and I see if God, creator, master of the universe, decided to hang a brand new life there for me. So that when all this one that I'm leaving is messed up, I can change the way I'm gonna go later on and change into that outfit, this outfit, and wear something else. So once that truth hit me, I learned how to value my time. Not only the time that I give to others, but time that I give myself. I learned how to value even just the gift of life. Because remember, we are here celebrating March 8th, International Women's Day. Many of our sisters didn't make it.
Yes.
And we take that for granted. Running around, being busy, we take that for granted. The second one is self appreciation. My Facebook page, I tell people my Facebook page is a reflection of me loving on me, appreciating me for the work that I do. We talked earlier about the silencers, people who always find that you're doing too much by appreciating yourself. You're doing too much by celebrating yourself. So on this journey, that's one thing I learned, that I will be celebrating myself every step of the way. Celebration can be as far as going to Zillow and getting a brand new pair of glasses for Women's Day. Yes, it can be, I don't know, getting a bottle of not Mountain Dew, Sprite, because I don't drink alcohol, and pouring myself a glass and be like, yes, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Antoinette Carole Mbarga. Yes, I say my full name. You did a good job today. You showed up not only for humanity, but also for yourself today.
Yes.
Self appreciation even means cutting ties, and that's the most difficult part, with people who don't value me. You know, those people only call you when they need something. They never call to check on you. They
Yes.
never enter your inbox just to be like, you know what? I don't know what is it that you've been going through lately. I just wanted to say that I am proud of you. You make me a better version of myself. I've been watching you. I see all that you do, and I'm grateful to have you as a friend, as a sister. I don't know, as a partner. So sometimes if you don't have that back support, like I saw a video on social media where this guy, like, I love myself, patting himself in the back. Yes, learn how to appreciate yourself and celebrate yourself every single day. It doesn't care who doesn't join the party. I am the life of the party.
Come
I, I,
on.
I tell people I am my own producer, paparazzi, biggest fan, all that. And I had to learn it again. Like you said, it's a journey. It's a journey. It gets lonely sometimes because when people don't understand you, they don't
Yes.
even understand. And we shouldn't even expect people to understand us because sometimes they don't even understand themselves.
Mm.
Right? So we show them that grace. But at the end of the day, do what makes your soul happy. Because when your soul is happy, you're a vibrant human being full of positive energy, full of positive things that you want to do. And you can step in anywhere as a superhero and save the day. Yeah.
I got it. You know, when they say people wait until people pass, but I have to give you your flowers now while we're
There you
living.
go.
To me, you are the epiphany of showing up, of service, of creating equity, of being my sister's keeper. Uh,
Yes.
it takes a village and community. You are community. You create community, and you want people to win. Like, you genuinely want people to win. And I have to say that I am grateful and honored to be in community and have you within my tribe, because you don't get that all the time. And there's a lot of opportunities, different things there's things that you've shown me, and you've been a big cheerleader and stuff, especially in some days where I was like, I don't know, because I'm always a cheerleader for people, and it's hard when you find another cheerleader. Yeah, you're excited because you don't get that. And like she said, it's hard out here when you're doing this work. Sometimes you feel like giving up. But I thank you, Your Excellency, Doctor, whew, for doing the work that you do.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. Somebody has to.
Yeah, and I know it's not easy. But if people are looking at the pathway of going through the UN, doing diplomacy, doing ambassadorship, being an advocate, how can they get in contact with you? Maybe to guide them or for mentorship. Would you like to put out that information for people to
Oh
contact
yeah,
you?
yeah, definitely. My Facebook account and my Instagram account. Yes, I got them verified so I can make myself. That's another self appreciation. Makes myself feel extra special. Yeah, so you can just look me up on Facebook or on Instagram. It's Carol Grace Mbarga. Just my middle names. There you go. Instagram, Facebook is the same. And then I also created like a consulting firm that I'm building uh, as I'm flying. It's like a plane. You fly it and then you build it at the same time. And it's called Afiri Consulting International. Afiri means in my mother tongue faith. It's just a reminder to myself that I have to have faith in me. I have to have faith in the people that I'm trying to help. I have to instill even faith in them for those, because we have a lot of people with broken souls who feel really hopeless.
Yes.
Yes. So you can definitely hit me up. But again, remember 10 p.m. I don't read any inboxes. I don't answer any phone calls because that's my me time.
That's some good mastery of boundaries, because a lot of us are still, especially high functioning people, are still working on their boundaries. So that's some good information. Set some strong boundaries. Love yourself. Trust yourself in this season.
Mhm.
Celebrate yourself to the
Yes.
do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough, and you already are. Take a risk, jump out there, trust yourself, and you got it. Like, this is International Women's Day, like Women's Month, and every day we're women. You have amazing women like Dr. Mbarga that is doing it, and she had an idea. She felt it in her gut that she had something bigger than herself, and she's doing the work. So we thank you and we appreciate you.
My pleasure. My
Thank you so much. And make sure you follow her on Instagram. Also, she's on LinkedIn. You can Google her because she has a lot of things written about her. And you can, if you're in the UN, you might see her there in different places. So she's everywhere, and she's traveling a lot too. So stay tuned. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much,
My
Kathy,
pleasure.
for
My,
all you're doing.
my pleasure.
And for you all, remember that, you know, life may throw you a curveball, but remember, you always have control of basically where it goes in the direction. You're never stuck. You always have agency in life. And celebrate you. Happy Women's Day. You are amazing. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next show.